Happy Tuesday, Bill, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Investor Guys podcast. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I was jumping on here and didn't have the microphone out.
I could still hear you, so I figured you'd live on or something. So
yeah, no, just those things happen. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have the right bike picked or whatever. So anyway,
how's your weather? Did you finally get a reprieve from the rain? Because I've talked to a dozen people here over the last couple of days talking about how they had to get out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area because they were just feeling too soaked. They had to come here for some sunshine. So.
Yep, and it is. So it stopped raining sometime Friday or Saturday morning, and yesterday summer arrived.
Good.
I mean, it's the first real hot day that we had yesterday. It was about 98, and it was, sometimes 98 feels really hot. Sometimes it's just like hot. Yesterday, it was brutally hot. So anyway, I'm excited to finally have summer weather here. And so, one of the things I was talking about and thinking about is Thursday night. I do a webinar every Thursday night, and it's the 3 secrets of real estate investing. So one of the things I thought we could do is just touch base and let everybody know what we're going to be talking about. If you'd like to join us Thursday night, just pop us an email at Kevin or Bill or contact any of those at investorguyspodcast.com. So you can just say Bill at investorguyspodcast.com, and we will get you the link to be with us live Thursday night for the 3 secrets. And so what we do is we thought today we'd talk a little bit about what those secrets are. I certainly don't have the time to teach the secrets now. We can talk about what they are and how they fit into your real estate investing. And one of those is what I call the M&O secret. And the M&O secret really covers 2 different things. And M&M, the M and M and O. Say that
like M&Ms, especially peanut M&Ms.
Yeah. So the M stands for money, and then the O stands for offers. And I teach all of my students, been teaching this for years. The key to successful real estate investing is money and offers. If you're not doing those 2 things on a consistent basis, you're wasting your time. I get clients that'll call, especially new investors, and they'll call and they're like, man, I'm really having a hard time determining what I should name my LLC. And I'm like, well, you're not spending any time. Oh, man, I've been like 2 days, I've been trying to figure out what in the world to name it. I'm like, no one cares but you. Not trying to be mean or brutal, but nobody cares other than you could call it My Dog Has Fleas LLC. No one would care. And basically no one would see it except for the people that you are buying a house from or selling a house to. And they're not going to not do business because you have a goofy name on your LLC. So don't waste that time. Your time needs to be in the office is what we refer to as applied focus. It's not enough to simply have focus on your business, but you have to have focus in the areas that are producing the best results. And that's what I call applied focus. So when you're looking at applied focus, and we can take these either way that we want to take them. I'd say let's look at offers first. You look at how many different kinds of offers that you can make. And then you look at, this is what I should be spending my time doing. You should set out a number. When I set new clients out, I lay a map out for them, 30 days. Here's something that you should be doing every single day for 30 days to move your business forward. And the bulk of it is making offers on property. Because if you're not out there making offers, you don't have any property. If you're an investor and you have no property, you're OOB, you're out of business. So we look at, you start looking at the different types of offers. And this is where I do 4 and 5 days just on offers, where we'll take a particular offer and break it down for an entire day. And so one of the things that we're going to see coming forward, and it's going to start probably in July, but we'll see more and more and more of it as the market turns, and the market is going to turn. Remember that. Subject to deals. Now, we haven't talked about subject to, I don't know that we've talked about it on the program at all here on the podcast. However, subject to is going to be a mode of purchase that's going to get back into a great deal of favor moving forward. So subject to is where we cut a deal with the seller. Now, right now, market's hot, low inventory, and people aren't doing subject to deals because they don't have to. They can go get a cash offer. They can go get a financed offer, probably for in a lot of markets like yours and mine, for more than the property lists for a lot of times. So what you're looking at is, as this market changes and it becomes a buyer's market. Right now it's a seller's market. When it becomes a buyer's market, this is one of the tools that we use a lot of. So if Kevin is selling a house and I come and look at it and I say, yeah, I want to buy it, and he and I have this conversation and we come into agreement, one of the ways that I could purchase that house would be that I could take over. You could do this in a wrap. You can do it in a lot of different formats, but I can take over the existing note that he has. Now, I'm not assuming that note. You have to understand that. Assumption is only done with credit approval. So that got changed in 86. We don't want to assume that note. We want to simply service that note. It would stay in this case, it would stay in Kevin's name, and he can be receiving the payments to turn around and go out and not only service the existing mortgage, but buy the property. A lot of times people get freaked out, sellers, and you have to know how to address this. They get freaked out with, well, if I sell you this property, I'm not going, and you're just servicing the mortgage, I'm not going to be able to go buy another property because my credit won't carry that. Now, when we come back from the break, I'm going to show you how to overcome, because that's a major objective you need to learn how to overcome.
11 months out of the year, Bill and I host real estate buyers events in cities like Cleveland, Ohio, where we ourselves invest and see great returns. We show investors the types of strategies we're using, the types of properties we're using. We introduce them to people here on the ground and the resources that they can use to get started right away. Day 4 of this event, we're actually touring properties and making offers on properties. This event was designed to put properties in your portfolio right away, high-performing properties. Read more about the Real Estate Buyers event. Get registered. We'll see you at the next event, realestatebuyersevent.com. A lot of real estate training programs claim that they will make you a millionaire, but how many of them will guarantee it? The Millionaire Blueprint comes with a millionaire guarantee. I guarantee that if you use the strategies and you use the formulas that you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint, you will be a millionaire. I guarantee that with a double your money back guarantee. Whether you have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest or absolutely nothing, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to start investing and be a millionaire guaranteed. Now, I can't tell you all about it in this short amount of time, so go to the guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's the guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Watch the videos there. Read about the guarantee. Read more about what we offer with the Millionaire Blueprint. Get signed up. I'll see you in Palm Beach. And we are back. And one of the things I wanted to really reiterate, you'll hear Bill and I talk about the numbers, the numbers, the numbers, the numbers. But the other thing you'll hear us say all the time is offers, make offers, make offers, make offers. And then if you're done making offers, go make some more. Anybody that teaches this is going to tell you the same thing. So what this is about is getting out, making those offers, but also having the money to back that up, because making offers is only part of this. Once you make those offers, you still have to be able to perform on those offers. Yeah. So I don't know his secrets because he's keeping it a secret from me, but I'm guessing the next couple secrets might be about money to back up these offers that you're making.
Yeah, so when you're looking at subject to, and I mentioned when we went into the break that you've got a major objection that will pop up from sellers. And if you don't know how to overcome this objection, very likely your subject to deal is not going to move forward. A lot of sellers freak out with, my credit's not strong enough to carry 2 mortgages. So if you are buying my property bill, but my mortgage is staying in place and you're simply giving me the funds to service that debt going forward, I can't buy another house. Well, you have to know how to answer that. And actually, you can make it even stronger for them to buy another house. And here's how that works. When you have somebody buy a property subject to, so if you are selling it subject to, you now can show on your income, your assets, hey, I have this house, I'm doing seller financing on this house, and the monthly payment on this house is X, it's $1,000 and I'm being paid $1,250. So not only have I now, from my financial statement, increased the viability of my P&L, my net worth on the financial statement, but I've increased my income by whatever the spread is on that subject to note. And so we actually make it easier for the seller to get a new property, as opposed to most of them freaking out and going, yeah, I'm not going to be able to get another house. That's not the case at all. But if you can't show that to them, then you've lost the deal more than likely. But when you show it to them, and they may need to talk to their mortgage broker to make sure that that's correct for them, but it is. And we've done it a ton of times and will be doing it a whole lot more going forward, because now, if you're going to, one of the things we love about real estate is the leverageability. And it is possibly the most easily leveraged asset that you could ever own. And you can leverage it more than you can leverage most anything else that I've ever found. So if leverage is a big play, and I can use the leverage that the seller has already created, it just allows me to continue to go and do more and more and more and more. And it is a fabulous way to buy property. Now, I typically will not go more than 5 years. When we're doing a subject to purchase, we say, okay, we ask for a range. 3 to 5 is the typical range that we're buying in. And what that does for the seller, it lets the seller know this is not a forever deal. Now, because they don't want to stay in it whatever the length of their remaining mortgage is. So if we're doing 3 to 5, that gives us plenty of time to be able to figure out what do we want to do. If I'm turning it into rental property, then I've got plenty of time to put permanent financing in place. If I'm flipping it, I got plenty of time to do that. If I'm turning around and I'm doing seller financing to my buyer, then that gives me plenty of time to put a buyer in. And if I'm doing 3 to 5, I may only give my buyer 2 to 4 when they have to get me out. And that is just a part of your contract. And if for any reason they were not able to get you out during that time, you have the right to foreclose if you wanted to. If they've been good paying, I'd figure out something else to do. But you're in a legal position that you have the right to do that. So subject to is going to be huge. It is just one of the many types of offers that you can make on property. And I'm telling you, Kevin knows this, it's going to be huge going forward.
And I've done this with great success. I've got great properties. In fact, I no longer have it. I sold it, but I have a property that I got here in Boca Raton on the water. It was a condo that I got back in 2008. When we were same kind of cycle, different circumstances, but same kind of cycle. They literally just handed it to me. Payments were current. Everything else even had a tenant in it. And they just handed because they were up in Massachusetts and they no longer wanted to deal with it because they knew that they were upside down on it and they were concerned about what was going to happen. What if the tenant moves out? How am I going to get another tenant? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? There are people who dabbled in real estate investing without bothering to learn how to do it the right way. They went out and they bought an investment without understanding how to manage that investment, without understanding how to deal with it. Now, I also know for a fact that Bill has had students that have used this with great success. I don't know if you've even got video, of these couples, talking about it or not, but they've literally gotten property subject to, and then turned right around and put a lease to own or lease option type of person into the property. And they're basically the middleman catching money in the middle for doing nothing but putting together the deal. Now, Bill and I understand this, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people are still saying, what about the money? What about the money? What about the money? So on this last segment, because we're coming up on a break, on this last segment, let's talk about private money, because I know that's part of one of your deals. Okay. So let's talk about private money and let's talk about the power of private money and how to facilitate that. And we'll be back in just a minute.
Las Vegas isn't only a great city to visit, it's a great city to invest in. Bill and I both have been investing in the Vegas area for decades, and that's one of the reasons why we have our real estate buyers event in Las Vegas, Nevada. Check out the same strategies, the same types of properties, the resources that we're using here on the ground, the people that we're using here on the ground to get the same types of returns that we're getting here in Las Vegas. The Real Estate Buyers Event, that's realestatebuyersevent.com. Read more about this event, find out where we're going to be, including when we're going to be in Vegas next, and register. We'll see you soon. My name's Kevin Mills. I have a real estate training program that is so powerful, I will back it up with a double your money back guarantee that it will make you a millionaire. That's right. Double your money back guarantee that you will be a millionaire if you use what you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint. I call it the Guaranteed Millionaire Blueprint, and you can read more about it and watch more videos at guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Check it out. All the information is there.
We are back from our break, and this section is our last segment. We're going to talk about private money and the power of private money, because not only will private money allow you to get things done with no money of your own, it actually provides a greater return on your investment because it's money that you didn't invest. You're making money on somebody else's money. The legal term for that is called arbitrage, but it is very, very, very powerful. I'm going to turn it over to Bill because I know he's got a lot to say, and I know he doesn't want to run long on these segments.
I know that, and you mentioned arbitrage, and it's such a crucial concept. When you understand the concept of arbitrage, and all that your bank does arbitrage all day, every day. All your securities firm, they do arbitrage all day, every day. Yeah, all that is if I'm borrowing money at one rate and I'm lending it out at a different rate, that difference, that spread, that markup, if you will, that's the arbitrage. And that's how, and that's all a bank is doing, right? They're borrowing money from the Fed at one rate, or from the private Fed, because the Fed is not, they ought to make them change their name. Yeah. So anyway, they're borrowing money from the Fed at one rate, and they're loaning it to you and I at a different rate, and they're keeping the profit in the middle. It's no different than a real estate deal, buying it at one price, fixing it up a little bit, selling it at a higher price, keeping the difference. All they're doing is the same thing. They have the single most desirable commodity in the world, money, to be selling. So they mark it up and they sell it. Same thing with credit card companies. They have credit. They charge they get charged so much for their credit. They turn around and charge us a higher rate for the credit. They make the spread, and they do incredibly well, just like the banks do. So what we're doing is we're using a note that's in play already. We're marking it up, and what Kevin had talked about with some of my students, and a fair amount of them have done this, where bought subject to, sold subject to, and we just call that a seller financed sandwich. I'm buying it from the seller with seller financing, which is the subject to piece, and I'm selling it the same way. I'm selling it subject to. I may get the down payment. I may get some of that, may get all of it. I may get that plus, which is what we're typically shooting for. But that is a form of private money because that money already exists. It's already committed to that property. All we've done is taken over the servicing of that debt. So it's a huge way to go. Another great piece about the private money is that, one, it is there's more private money than any other type of money out there. And all you have to do is find it. And that's one of the things I do a whole course called the Private Money Vault and how to open it. And it's all about the process of locating private money, of attracting private money, and then putting it into play in a way that protects you and protects the money. Now, when I say protects you, well, you just can't run out and Kevin knows this story. There's a gentleman that I knew out of Ohio that at one time, it's from Dayton, owned more single-family residents in the state of Ohio than anyone. And we were having dinner. He and Ron LeGrand and I were having dinner one night some years ago. And I was like, man, how did you get so huge? How did you do this? He had, I don't know, 350 properties or something that he was selling on seller financing. And he's like, well, you know, I've put private money together for the purchase and any rehab that's required on these. And I turn around and sell them, seller finance. I get enough money to service the debt for the private money that I've borrowed. I get a higher rate from the people that I've put in these properties, and I get the spread, and it makes it very nice. I'm like, that is so brilliant. But I'm just curious, how in the world were you able to raise all of that private money? Because this is incredible. You may be better at this than me, and I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty damn good at it. And he goes, oh, I run a little ad in the newspaper, and I have, if you remember Bonanza restaurants, he said, I'll have people once a week we meet at Bonanza, and I'll have 20 or 30 people there, and I tell them about, you know, what we're doing, and some of them want to do it and some of them don't. And I'm like, okay, you're going to jail. And he's like, what were you talking about? I'm like, dude, I come from an investment banking background. I even taught compliance for a while. Now, granted, I've been out of that game, but I know this: you can't run an ad if you don't have a SEC approved prospectus and jump through all the hoops. That's about $250,000 minimum to get that set up and approved. From my experience, you might be able to find a place to do it cheaper. That's my experience. And you know, then you can go out and start doing that. And there are some requirements that are still in play once all that happens. You just can't run an ad. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, he continued to do it. And about a year and a half later, LeGrand called me one day and he goes, hey, you need to hop on the internet and go look at this site. And I did. And he had made the evening news the night before because the Ohio Securities Commission had swooped into his office and arrested him. He had 9 employees, one of which was his son that got arrested. They grabbed all of the records, and it was all because a guy had put $1 million with him. The investor, the guy that was buying and selling the houses, never missed a payment, never late on a payment. But where do you think that $1 million came from? It came from a doctor's account that he had at Merrill Lynch. And when he went to Merrill Lynch to get the money, the broker that was losing that $1 million was not very happy about it. And he said, well, what are you doing with it? He told him what he was doing. Well, how'd you find that? Oh, I saw a little ad in the paper. And all this lowly stockbroker did was walk into a local office compliance officer, which every one of them has one, and say, hey, you might want to check this out. We just lost $1 million, and they did, and it was almost a year after that when this arrest happened, but it cost him 14 years. His son got 9 years, and he didn't think, neither one of them thought they were doing anything wrong. Ignorance is no excuse for the law.
And
so
let's not
we'll teach you how going forward to do private money so that you're legally safe, you're protected because you're doing it the right way, and then the money's protected.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to get to. Is there are correct ways to do it.
Yep.
There are right ways to do it. There are legal ways to do it. And most importantly, there are ethical and moral ways to do it. And that is what you need to focus on. And that is what you need to understand and know. Because you know what? A lot of people, they make innocent mistakes just because they don't know. They did not get the information.
And it doesn't matter.
And unfortunately, there was a line my mom used to say all the time when she was getting ready to lay down the law is ignorance of the law is no excuse for violation of the law. So the law still exists. Whether or not you know about it, the law still exists and you still have to comply with it. And it's important to understand those things. And I'm guessing those are all things you're going to cover on your 3 secrets. And tell us once more how they can get in touch with us and how they can get signed up for your
just jump over to send Kevin an email, Kevin at investorguyspodcast.com. You can send one to me, Bill at investorguyspodcast.com. We will shoot you the link, guys, so that you can join us. That it's always a private webinar. I just don't, I don't put these on Facebook or anything. This is for people that we know that are in this business or want to be in this business. So drop either one of us an email. We'll get you a link out there, and you can join us Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Pacific.
All right. And we will see all of you guys back here on Thursday. Happy investing. And this is Kevin and Bill. We are out.
See you, everybody.